Welcome back to the Sneaker Bench! We're back! Okay. Today we're talking about our top 5 Nike sneakers that we want to come see back out, get re-released, get more into, or just have more sneakers released. Most, if not all these, again, it's another list where I don't know which sneakers Raj picked, or he doesn't know which sneakers I picked. Some of these may have had like a release or two in like 2014 or something, but in general, these sneakers have not come out for a long time, and we just want to see them come out more widely or come back out again for the first time.
Yep.
But before we do that,
Someone check on that dog.
what are you wearing on feet today, Raj?
I'm wearing the Ultra Boost 2.0s in like the OG black and white colorway.
Core black.
Core black colorway. These were graciously gifted to me by Spyro back when we were in high school, and it's a shoe that's just stupidly comfortable.
The Ultra Boost 2.0 kind of an underrated, or at least it felt underrated at the time. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not now, but people are all about the 1.0 knit pattern. The 2.0 pattern was pretty cool too.
And it was the first Ultra Boost with Continental sole too.
That's true. The 1.0 eventually got Continental soles, but
not like the OG release.
Not the OG
Yeah.
release didn't have.
What do you have on feet?
I have the ALD New Balance A60 V2s. This is the first sneaker that we did a review on that I've worn on the channel. Pretty cool stuff. I love these. I've been wearing these a lot. Usually I have a little bit of a romance period when I get a new sneaker, and I don't wear it all too much when I first get it because I kind of just like to look at it and bask in its glory. But this one I quite honestly I couldn't resist. So I'm wearing them around the house, out and about, all the time. I love these so much. Anyways, let's get into our list. Again, we are doing top 5 Nikes models of any sort that we want to get re-released, and that's it.
Yeah.
So 5 sneakers we want to come back out. Raj, what is your number 5?
My number 5 is the Nike Air Force 3s. These came out in 1988 originally, and some low-top versions have come out. They came out in like 2015, but I want like the OG high-top versions to come out. In my mind, they have like a similar vibe to like the ALD 650s, where they're just like a cool, chunky high-top shoe that I think you could wear around. And I just like old basketball models too, so it's a cool shoe to me.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty cool. They kind of got a Ewing-esque vibe.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly which year those came out, but I mean, cool stuff. I agree. I think 1988, that's an interesting time for sneakers, and that stuff's kind of coming back into style. Like we've been talking about, the vintage or the Y2K early-ish tactical running sneakers are coming back, but I wouldn't be surprised if the vintage retro 90s 80s-ish basketball sneakers also come into style relatively soon.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised.
What's number 5 on your list?
On my list, we've got the Air Max 360. Talked about it in the last video. It's one of my favorite Air Maxes of all time, and yet they don't get released very much ever. I don't think they've actually been re-released. Maybe in select, very limited colorways, but I really don't think so. Like we said, they did do the Vapor Max 360, which is cool. I want to see the Air Max 360 come back out in its true OG form. I think they're just awesome, and I don't know why they wouldn't come back out. Maybe tweak them a little bit, make them a little bit more comfortable. I know there was a little, bit of a problem with the inner cage, like pinching your foot a little bit, but I don't think that was that big of a problem, and I think they should come back out.
I agree. Those are very, very cool. They definitely need a re-release. I agree with that. Number 4 on my list is the Nike Air Kentara, the early 2000s, like the 2000s pair specifically. Here. This is a shoe that I just think checks a lot of the boxes as far as like it would be popular today, and I just think it looks super cool. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on with the paneling, so I think there's a lot of ways that it could go if someone did pick it up as either a collaboration or they're just coming out with new colorways. There's a lot of different paneling, so it could be a really, really interesting shoe. And even if you look at the OG releases, like there's one where it's like a navy and a light blue pair. We'll put it on the screen somewhere. It's just so cool. I think it checks so many boxes. It's a chunky runner, kind of fits that like it's not. It kind of fits that like Hoka vibe if you know what I mean, like in that same arena. But I think they look much cooler than those. They're a lot more interesting to me, at least.
Something that Raj said I thought was a really good point. The paneling. A lot of these sneakers, a lot of older Nike designs have cool panels of suede or synthetic leather or whatever, actual leather in some cases. And in today's day and age, a lot of running shoes are using more synthetic, lighter materials.
Yeah.
But in the 90s, early 2000s, we either didn't have access to those or people didn't care as much about being as light because sneakers just weren't that light yet.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shoes that end up having really cool panels, and it's just cool to work with colorway wise, and you know, collaborations and collaborators have a lot more wiggle room and things to change to make them cooler sneakers. So I think that is a good pick, and it would be cool to see come back out.
What's number 4 on your list?
Number 4 on my list is the Nike Tailwind 3, released originally in 1998. This was a running sneaker. The Tailwind line was full of running sneakers that would come out, and when this came out, like I said, this was just a regular running shoe. Like a lot of shoes are coming out now from the early 2000s. This is just one from the 90s. It's really, really cool. I love the tongue, the stitching on the tongue. I'm looking at it on my screen. It's just so sweet. Kind of similar to what Raj is saying. There's a lot of different things you could change on the sneaker, lots of different panels, and it's a cool sneaker with cool air technology that I think would be awesome to come out. There's at least one colorway up on the screen right now, but you can look and there's plenty of cool ones. And the Tailwind line is great, so if you guys are interested in looking for more sneakers like this one, go look up the Tailwind old Tailwind models. They're so cool.
On the Tailwind vibe, my number 3 is the Nike Tailwind 5 Plus. They have come out with the 5, and I think like there's like some GR colorways, but the 5 Plus hasn't come out since like the early 2000s, I think. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's like the early 2000s. It's just
Skepta, or no.
Skepta did a collaborations on the Nike Tailwind 5s. The 5 Pluses have different paneling in the front, and I just like they just like look super, to me it kind of gives like a Spider-Man vibe. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It's just super cool. It's like really out there. It's definitely a very loud shoe, but I just think how it's presented and how it kind of all comes together works really well, especially the black and silver colorway, which we'll put on the screen here.
Very cool. I don't have a complete image of the Tailwind 5 ingrained in my mind, but I think the regular 5 might have like harder lines, and the Plus might have softer, more like rounded lines, which it's cool. And I think, you know, like we said with all these sneakers, a lot of these older retro Nike designs are just kind of funky and out there, and I think as people become more individualistic in what they like, people get more interested in other sneaker brands. I think Nike might eventually be drawn to pull out some of the weirder, funkier, more oddball designs from their archive, just to show that they as they always do, they've got a whole bag of tricks, and they're going to continue to pull all these weird, goofy designs that are really cool out of their archive, to show that the other brands that they still got it. Coming in at number 3 on my list is the Nike Air Brazen, which originally released in 1999. It was originally worn by Marion Jones in the 2000 Olympics, where she won 5 Olympic medals, which was the most.
Good job, Marion.
It was the most by any woman, most medals won by any woman in one Olympics at the time. She did eventually get found to be using performance-enhancing drugs, I believe, but these sneakers are really cool. Sometimes when sneakers have a little bit of I don't know what you call it, a rough past, connections with, you know, performance-enhancing drugs and whatnot, they tend to not come out again. But I think this shoe is really cool. Again, lots of panels, cool, retro, early 2000s, late 90s kind of vibe. And it's also a women's sneaker, so I think it'd be cool to bring this out maybe in just like a women's colorway. There's plenty of cool female designers that I think could do something really cool with these. So they've got an interesting history. They look really cool, and I think it would be an interesting thing for Nike to bring to appeal to women, and that's my number 3 on my list.
I didn't know that story, so less good job, Marion, on the PEDs, but yeah.
She did win a lot of medals, so.
Hey, man. My number 2 is the Nike Hypermax McFlies. This was a shoe that was slated for like a 2008 release. It might be 2009 release, but it's a specific colorway that I think is super cool, and it would have just been really cool to see on the basketball court. But apparently they were too similar to the Nike Air Mags, which they were modeled after. So I don't know how they figured that out after the shoe had already been created. It's called the McFly. It's for the movie. Like, I don't understand, but it was too similar to the Nike Air Mags, so they never actually ended up coming out. But I just think it's a super cool colorway. I think it fits the silhouette super well, and I hope they come out. That would be super cool. If they did ever come out, I would definitely want to get a pair just to, I don't know, play basketball in and just like look cool, and I don't know. They're cool. I like them a lot.
I'm not entirely a huge fan of those, but the story's cool. I didn't know that, and when stuff doesn't come out and there's weird stories like that, always cool, interesting. It's always cool when sneakers have cool layers to pull back like that.
Yeah.
But anyways, number 2 on my list is the Nike Air P9000, which released originally in 2001. This shoe is really, really, really cool. I think this fits exactly what kind of people are wanting to wear now. I love these. I've liked these for a long time. There is lots of cool panels on it. They've got that early, 2000s vibe like perfectly. And I think this sneaker, if they brought it back, it probably wouldn't end up being like a sneakerhead shoe. I don't know if the sneaker was ever cool to begin with, but I think it's cool. I think this could probably be a big normie sneaker. If this sneaker released, I could see this being a sneaker where you walk on the streets of whatever urban area you live in the nearest, and half the girls are wearing this shoe because it's just a really cool shoe. And it's also got like stripes on it. It's got like a almost Adidas type vibe, where maybe that's why they didn't bring it back, or why that's why I haven't released it. But they're really, really cool. It's a trail running shoe, so nothing. Thought I would include that. Anyways, that's my number 2.
My number 1 is the Nike Airwalker Max. They were released in 1988, 1 year after the Air Max 1. They took a lot of inspiration from the Air Max 1, but from what it looks like in pictures, it just looks like a slightly like elevated version where it's like an all leather upper, and it's got like 3 stripes kind of on the, or I guess 4 stripes, kind of on the midsole area, and I just think it looks super cool. It's got a really small bubble as well, which I think looks really interesting. Just a shoe that I think if it came back out, it would be super wearable, similar to the Air Max 1. And yeah, I mean, I think if they re-release the shoe, it would be very interesting. I think it would be very wearable.
Coming in at my number 1, I have a sneaker I really, really, really like. I've liked it for a long time now. It's the Nike Air Stab. It's very cool. There's plenty of cool colorways, especially the size colorways are really cool. Of course, as the name suggests, it's a little bit of a controversial name, but the Stab does stand for stability. But I don't think anybody necessarily was stabbed for this shoe in particular, but I do think, or I know, there's an article by Matt Welty, I think from like 2014 or something like that, where he says essentially at that time when the Stab, or early 2000, maybe 2007-ish, people were getting stabbed at like an all-time rate for shoes, and Nike, as a response to that, decided to stop selling the Nike Air Stab because the name. So I think this would be a cool shoe to bring back. Maybe they could bring it back with a different name. I don't think anybody would really care necessarily. I think people like this shoe a lot, and it gets brought up every once in a while from big sneaker people, and I think people would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bring it back with a different name. Who cares?
Or just like elongated. It's called of stability. It's
I
like,
think it was I think it might have been. I think it said stability on the box, but maybe Stab was the nickname. I don't know that for sure. I don't have a pair, but just give it a different name and bring it back. It's really cool. The like shark fins that come out from the midsole.
Yeah.
It's so cool, and that's also a super small little thing. It looks a lot like a Nike Air Structure Tri-X kind of, but for whatever reason, I like the Stabs more, and I would love to see them coming back out. But those are our lists. Those are the top 5 sneakers we both want to see come back out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. I don't have much else to say. What are a few sneakers you guys want to see come back out that Nike hasn't released in a while? Maybe they released somewhat recently, or what are you looking forward to in terms of older Nike sneakers?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below. You have anything to say?
No. Thank you for watching. We appreciate all of you guys, and have a great day. See ya.